So hi guys, I'm Andrea Vanna and I'm going to talk about gender and sexuality. So let's dive in. In a world where over 7 billion people exist, each of us navigates our identity through a unique lens of gender and sexuality. Imagine a young person struggling to understand why they don't fit in the traditional categories of a male and female. Imagine someone feeling isolated because their love doesn't assign or align with the societal norms. These are not isolated experiences. They are the realities of millions around the globe. Today, I want to explore the complexities of gender and sexuality, challenges, misconceptions, and emphasize the importance of embracing diversity. My goal is to shed light on the rich tapestry of human identity and encourage a more inclusive, accepting society. Through this talk, we will delve into fundamental definition to clarify what we mean by gender and sexuality, debunk common myths, and perpetuate misunderstandings, and discuss the significant benefits of fostering inclusive environments. By the end, I hope to leave you with a deeper understanding and practical steps to support a world where everyone can be their true selves. Let's start with a story. Meet Seb, a non-binary person who grew up in a small town. For years, Seb felt out of place, pressured to conform to traditional gender norms. These internal conflicts led to feelings of isolation and anxiety. However, when Seb moved to a more inclusive community that respect their identity, the transformation was profound. Seb flourished personally and professionally, highlighting the power of acceptance and support. Unfortunately, not everyone experienced such acceptance. Discrimination based on gender and sexuality remains pervasive and harmful. LGBTQ plus individuals often face higher rates of mental health issues such as depression and anxiety due to societal rejection and prejudice. They are also more likely to encounter violence, homelessness, and economic hardship. For instance, studies show that transgender individuals are at significantly higher risk of physical assault and unemployment. These disparities are not due to individuals themselves but are direct results of systematic discrimination and exclusion. On the other hand, creating inclusive environments benefits everyone, not just those who are directly affected by discrimination. When we embrace diversity, we foster a culture of creativity and innovation. Diverse teams are proven to solve problems more effectively and bring fresh perspective that drive progress. Inclusive also enhance a sense of belonging and well-being for all. When people feel value for who they are more engaged and productive. School, workplace that adopt inclusive policies see improvement performance, reduce absenteeism, and higher levels of satisfaction among all members. Now, firstly, let's clarify the distinction between gender and sex. Sex refers to the biological attributes such as chromosomes, hormone levels, and reproductive organs that society typically uses to categorize individuals as male and female at birth. However, gender is much more complex. It encompasses the roles, behaviors, activities, and attributes that a given society consider appropriate for men and women. Gender is about identity and how we perceive ourselves and wish to be perceived by others. For example, while my sex was assigned at birth based on physical characteristics, my gender identity is about how I see myself and how I live my life. It's an internal experience, deeply personal and unique to each individual. Gender identifier refers to one deeply felt internal experience of gender, which may or may not correspond with the sex assigned at birth. Some people identify as cisgender, meaning their identity or gender identity aligns with their birth assigned sex. Others identifies as transgender, where their gender identity differs from their sex they were assigned at birth. Beyond cisgender and transgender, there are non-binary, genderqueer, and gender fluid identities, among others. These terms describe people who don't exclusively identify as male or female. Gender expression, on the other hand, is about how we represent our gender to the outside world through clothing, hairstyles, behavior, and other forms of self-expression. This can be vary wildly and doesn't necessarily correlate with one's gender identity. Sexual orientation is a distinct from gender identity and refers who we are attracted to and what form of romantic or sexual relationship with. Common orientations include heterosexual, where attracted to opposite gender; homosexual, where we are attracted to the same gender; bisexual means attracted to both genders; and asexual, experiencing little to no sexual attraction to others. Understanding this distinction is crucial. While someone might be cisgender and heterosexual, other person might be transgender and bisexual. This aspect of our identity, gender expression, and sexual orientations are all different but interconnected pieces of puzzle that make up who we are. Myth number 1. Gender is binary. One of the most persistent myths is that gender is binary, strictly male or female. However, this binary view fails to recognize the full spectrum of gender identities. The historical and across culture, many societies have recognized more than two genders. For instance, some indigenous cultures in North America acknowledge two-spirit people who embodied both masculine and feminine qualities. Consider the stories of individuals who identify as non-binary or genderqueer. These identities challenge the binary framework, show us the gender is not just a rigid box but a fluid spectrum. Recognize this diversity help us move towards a more inclusive understanding of gender. Myth number 2. Sexuality is a choice. Other widespread myth is that sexual orientation is a choice. This misconception can lead to harmful attitudes and practices, such as conversation therapy, which aim to change an individual's sexual orientation. However, extensive research in psychology and biology indicates that sexual orientation is an inherent part of who we are, likely influenced by a combination of genetic, hormonal, and environmental factors. People do not choose who they are attracted with to any more than they choose their eye color. By acknowledging the sexual orientation is not a choice, we can better support and accept individuals for who they are. Lastly, we have genders and sexual diversity. Our new concepts may believe that gender and sexual diversity are recent developments, a product of modern society. However, historical and anthropological evidence shows that diverse gender identities and sexual orientation have existed throughout human history. Asian cultures such as Hijra community in South Asia or the Sworn Virgins of Balkans recognized and revered gender diversity long before modern technology emerged. Now, the real question is, how can we make a difference? How can we replace myths with truth? Education is the cornerstone of change. By incorporating comprehensive education on gender and sexuality into our school and other communities, we can combat ignorance and prejudice. It's crucial that we teach children and adults alike about the spectrum of gender identities. sexual orientation, promoting understanding and empathy from a young age. This education should include history, science, and personal narratives to provide a well-rounded perspective. On the other hand, allyship is important. Being an ally means actively supporting and advocating for the rights and well-being of LGBTQ individuals. Here are some actionable steps you can take to be a better ally. We have number one, listen and learn. Take time to listen, experience of LGBTQ plus people, and educate yourself on issues that affect them. Number two, speak up. Challenge discriminatory remarks and behaviors when you encounter them, and use your voice to advocate for inclusivity. Last, we have support LGBTQ plus organization. Donate to, volunteer with, or otherwise support organizations that work to protect and uplift LGBTQ plus communities. Allyship is not just about standing beside someone. It's about actively working to create a more equitable and inclusive environment. It is important to acknowledge that the support of inclusive policies and law is essential. Advocate for policies that protect LGBTQ rights, such as anti-discriminatory laws, marriage equality, and access to healthcare. Voting for candidates who prioritize LGBTQ plus issues and holding lawmakers accountable are crucial steps in this process. Additionally, workplace and educational institutions can implement policies that support gender and sexual diversity. This includes inclusive non-discrimination policies, providing gender-neutral facilities, and offer support services for LGBTQ plus individuals. However, beyond systematic challenge, small and everyday action can make a big difference. Use inclusive language, respect people's pronouns, and create space where everyone feels safe and valued. These actions, through simple, contribute to a culture of acceptance and respect. Therefore, I challenge each of you to take what you've learned today and put it in action. Educate yourselves and others about the rich spectrum of gender and sexuality. Stand up against prejudice and discrimination whenever and wherever you see it. Support policies and initiatives that promote equality and protect the rights of all individuals, regardless of their gender identity or sexual orientation. Remember, our differences are not what divide us. As Audre Lorde said, quote, "It is not our differences that divide us. It is our inability to recognize, accept, and celebrate those differences," unquote. Hope you understand and learn with this talk. Thank you.